Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well and welcome back to another studio vlog. The main plan for this week is a lot of store prep. I started to get quite a few emails and comments places asking when I was planning a restock on the various palettes, and I thought I had a lot more stock left in my store, but then I decided to look and it was like, yeah, there's nothing left. So thank you all once again so much for all of your continuous love for the various palettes. So that is of course the main theme for this video. There's actually a very specific project that I wanted to work on this week, but I'm having to wait for some materials to come in before I can prototype that, so I will explain that entire situation in a future video once I actually have the stuff to work with. Also, yay for the new background. That was obviously the project that I worked on a couple of weeks ago in a studio vlog, but this is the first chance that I've actually gotten to try filming on it, so hopefully it looks good. It looks pretty interesting in the camera screen, but I obviously can switch up the colors of the LEDs and tweak that, and I guess sort of where I'm sitting and stuff in the future, but it's just a studio vlog, so not too worried about the perfection of the background for now. Now that I've managed to ramble on forever in this intro, let's actually get into working on some store stuff. The first thing I want to look at tackling is what I'm going to call the sticker situation. So right now, these Draw Paint Create stickers are what I put into every order that goes out, and I do like them, but at this point I've made hundreds of them, and so I think it's time for a bit of change. And originally I thought about like really doubling down on the art supplies idea and making something that either like looked like a palette tower or a travel palette or something, but then I thought, you know, if somebody just orders a travel palette and then they get a palette tower sticker, I'm gonna feel weird about that. So then I was looking at this. I do overall like this sticker, so I thought, what if I end up changing out the background so that there are multiple color options or whatever for the sticker itself, and then it's still like a bit of a random draw as to what people get. So if you are someone that's made multiple orders, the chances of you getting multiple stickers that are the same background or whatever are much more slim, and so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play around in Photoshop and make some interesting looking, probably pour painting background stickers. And here are the final new sticker designs. I didn't end up filming much because honestly I was basically just sifting through hundreds of pictures of different pour paintings, but I did end up designing 12 of them because 12 fit on a page when I make them. And since I've got all of my sticker designs figured out, I then got them all set up in the Cricut design space and then started printing out a whole bunch of sheets to then start getting them cut out. And here are some of the finished stickers. So now when you order anything from my store, you'll be getting one of these 12 designs. Now that the sticker stuff is out of the way, let's get back to the other store prep. here are all of the palette tower lids, at least the normal ones. The Kuretake ones I will take their own picture of and insert it here, but these are the regular palette tower lids. Yeah, I'm really happy with how these turned out. I know I get a decent amount of questions asking if it's hard for me to part with these and sell them, and the answer is not really. Like, in each wave, I have ones that I personally gravitate more towards. They tend to be the ones that it's like very difficult to recreate. Like this one is one of the ones that really stands out to me. Just the cell formation and just the color layout of how this turned out. Something like this is just really hard to recreate. So when something just naturally happens that looks like this and has a really cool effect, those tend to be my favorite within waves. Which this particular one actually reminds me of something that I've been meaning to ask for honestly months at this point, just because it interests me. This is probably the best example of all of these. But yeah, I did end up adding some Floetrol into the white, so there is a little bit more cell formation, and I don't normally do it because I personally just in general am not like the most massive fan of cell formation, but I'm also like, I wouldn't say paranoid, but I want to know, this is so random, if you have a trypophobia, which if you don't know is like the dislike or fear of clustered holes, Google it. I'm sure a lot of you know what this is, but I always wonder if cell formations in pour painting freak people out that have trypophobia. So if you do, I'm sorry for holding this up so close for one, but if you have trypophobia or just that kind of thing bothers you to some degree, do cell formations in pour paintings bother you? Because I'm just fascinated to find out, because obviously the cells aren't really holes, but they still are circular formations that tend to be different colors. I don't know, it's a fascinating concept to me, and I would love to know the answer if you are somebody that has that or knows someone that, you know, may or may not be tripped out by cell formations in pour painting. Yeah, this one kind of has it too, which this one is almost more holy. This is terrible. This is like how to not sell your palettes. But no, I'm just super interested in the concept, and it's something I have thought about for honestly since the beginning of actually doing these. And I would just love to find out definitively whether it is something that is trypophobia triggering or not really. Although of course it can completely depend on the person as well, so some people might be cool with it and others might be freaked out. I don't know, so please somebody find me an answer. I also did a really small round of some travel palettes. That's just generally what I like to grab to paint when I have some excess paint left over, just to use it up so that I waste the least amount of paint as possible. But doing these reminded me that I never actually showed you this, which this is something that I designed like weeks ago at this point, maybe even like a month honestly, and I never finished prototyping it or showed it off anywhere. But yeah, this is a new insert for the travel palettes. Here, I grabbed the usual ones here. None of these have them right now, so I need to put all of these and package all of them up before I put them in my stash. But these are the two pieces that come in the standard travel palettes. And something that I've been thinking about for a while, because this is the standard well situation. There are 15 wells and they're quite small, and something I'd been thinking about was creating something that had less wells but that were larger. And I had somebody ask about this, and I thought, you know, that was a good enough reason for me to finally go ahead and look at making something, and so I did. So I decided on this 8 well configuration. I did make the wells more shallow just so you don't have to use a crazy amount of paint in these. This is obviously meant to be a travel palette, so I don't want you to feel like you have to like squeeze like a $20 worth of professional watercolors into each well, so they are much more shallow. I believe these are about 10 millimeters and these are about 5 millimeters, so half the depth, but obviously the well itself is much larger. So if you're someone that maybe wants to use larger brushes, or just, wants to carry around less colors, then that is the new option that you can get. Now, adding this into the lineup, all of the standard travel palettes are still going to come with the 15 well and the mixing dish, but I'm going to make each of these pieces available individually. So I know I've had people request in the past that they can just buy an extra mixing dish. So any of that stuff is going to be available for you to purchase if you want maybe an extra 15 well one to be able to swap out, or you maybe want a 8 well one to swap out in your travel palette. Those are all going to be available in my store as well. And of course, these 8 travel palettes. And I was so preoccupied with getting all of these palettes finished that I completely forgot to properly end the studio vlog. As usual, all of the palettes made in this video are available right now in my shop. The links will be at the top of the description box. But that is everything, so thank you so much for joining me for another studio vlog, and I will see you in my next video.